Hello everybody, I'm back and this is the third day of my event. So we're going to be reviewing some of the things that I've already discussed in the event, and we'll be going through little things. So the first thing I want to do tonight is to show you the different hand positions, and I have these with the cards, so I'm going to explain them as I go through them. Let's see. The first one I'm going to talk about is the eyes. When we place our hands on your eyes, this relieves allergies and headaches. So this is how we hold. This is what we do. Normally, I would have covered your face with one of the white handkerchiefs so that it's just not my hands on you. And this one helps balance the areas of the eyes, the sinus area, the nose, facial muscles. Also physically, it helps with cataracts, glaucoma, astigmatism, allergies, sinus infections, colds, facial muscles, tensions, headaches, reasoning, smell, language, speech, and seasonal affective disorders. On the metaphysical side, this is what we consider the third eye. When we're covering your third eye is right here. That belongs with the chakra system, which I'm going to be doing an event for that as well. This one, because it covers this area, helps with the daily irritations that we encounter, forming morals and values, and helps in decision makings and initiation of movement. So here's another one, also when you do it on yourself. And this one, of course, helps with again, promotes intuitive vision. So this is why when I place my hand over the face, lots of time people start to see things that they have inside of them that they haven't noticed before. Anyway, so that would be the first position, and then we move on to the temples, and the temples create balance, because now we have our hands on our temples, and we're creating balance for you. And the physical part of this position, his hand position, helps with dizziness, nausea, TMJ dysfunction, teeth grinding, ears, and also with our metaphysical balancing, it's creating balance and spiritual connection, fears, phobias, tensions, anger, frustration, hopelessness, and helplessness. So with this one, we're touching in those areas that we have in our bodies and helps balancing those areas. So again, like this, alleviating nausea, creating balance, helping us to feel better, relieving us of headaches. Now we're going to go to the back of the head, and the back of the head helps with insomnia. So if you're having any kind of problem sleeping, this area back here, this is why when we touch this area back here, the person tends to just fall asleep. They go out. And this helps with attention and insomnia. Metaphysically, this one helps to calm us and to deflect restlessness, to help us in that area. And also that's the one that I call touch memory, because back there is where we have a lot of our memories from our past, growing up, or even way back in our past. So here supports spiritual how you do it when we do it to ourselves. So tension and insomnia. Very, very good for that. It's calming, it's soothing, it helps us with our eyes. So it's a really good position for us. And then we're going to move on down to the throat area. And a lot of people don't realize that the throat area, there's a lot that connects with our throat area. First of all, we can regulate the blood pressure with the throat area. Don't know if you can see that. It says right there. So here's where we place our hands with that. And this area helps us balance our thyroids, our arteries, our vocal cords, our lymph nodes, and that's about it. And then in the physical benefit of this regulates blood pressure, sore throats, and hoarseness. Metaphysically, this helps us to communicate and express ourselves. Also, our throat area is, we have 3 senses in our throat area, and it's where here we listen, believe it or not, we see, and we communicate. So when someone's speaking to us, we are actually looking at them, seeing, we're listening to what they're saying, and then we're getting ready to communicate back to them what we're feeling. And you know, this is where it gives us a chance to really think about what we're going to do, what we're going to say with to the person who's talking to us. So we move down to, again, to the throat area, and as you can see, it helps with communication. We communicate, and it does regulate blood pressure. Really helps to balance that out. It helps us with our cholesterol in there. It helps us with the calcium blood levels, soreness, hoarseness, and totally all has to do with communication. So studying the body like we do when we're studying Reiki, whenever we're experiencing a great amount of throat problems, it could be that we're not communicating our thoughts right, and we're not stating our truth. We're holding back, not being able to stand and say no to someone from fear of hurting them. But there's a way of doing this. If you're ever in a position where you're with a loved one and you need to communicate with them, but you don't want to have a confrontation, take 5 minutes out, place your hand on your throat and your heart, and just breathe in and out, in and out. And that position right there will help you to connect the two. So when you speak, you'll speak kindly to the person, and hopefully they will understand and get the message. One of the most difficult things to do. We move on now to the chest level. Right here is where we have our immune system. So this is a really important area when we're working with our clients, and this is where we put our hands on them. And this one helps balance the thymus and the thyroid. Physically, it helps with the immune system, chronic fatigue system, rheumatoid arthritis, T-cell productions. Also helps combat viruses and bacteria, and helps us with our metabolism. And this is the area where we express from the heart, and also protection. So we protect ourselves there when we're working from the chest area, and also the sternum, as you can see. So it helps with, I'm sure this is backwards, with assisting with the expression of your heart. It helps the thymus, the throat, immune system, chronic fatigue, syndrome, T-cell productions, and metabolism, and the heart chakra, expression of the heart, and protection. because this is where we protect ourselves. So if we don't have that balance, we're open to a lot of things, which later on just gives us problems. Sometimes we have a stiff neck and what's actually coming from here. And our shoulder blades, our shoulders, carry a lot. You heard the expression, I feel like I'm carrying the world on my shoulders and things like that. Well, yes, you are. And so what we do when we place our hands on your shoulders, we help you to, let's see, we help you to ease up, and also helps with if you have anything to do with asthma. It helps a lot with asthma. It helps your lungs. It helps you with asthma, allergies. It helps you with COPD, and metaphysically creating ease, ability to take in life. A lot of times we have a difficult time taking life in. Our shoulders also promotes productive dreaming. When we have productive dreaming, we sometimes do remember our dreams, and we wake up and go, oh yeah, I had a dream on this, and if you're smart, you write that dream down, because those dreaming helps a lot. Physically, it helps the shoulders dysfunction. It helps with insomnia from the right shoulder, and gallbladder from the right shoulder. So the left shoulder, having problems sleeping, if it hurts or stiff or anything, then we got to take care of that. That's a blockage there. And then the right shoulder has to deal with your gallbladder. If you're having problems with that, then we have to take care of that. There's a blockage there. Metaphysically, it's a peaceful sleep, production of dreaming from the left shoulders, and releasing bitter emotions from the right shoulder. So a lot of releasing there, a lot of letting go. Now, when we go to the back of the shoulders, it helps with muscles to release muscle tension, helps with our neck. Physically, neck disorder, tight shoulders, or neck muscles and blood pressure. Also an area to relieve the blood pressure. So metaphysically, it helps us with, standing straight and standing our guards, almost like a shoulder, almost like protecting ourselves from burdens, so we don't carry all this here. And helps us to relieve stubbornness. Sometimes, I mean, we're all guilty of being stubborn. I'm one, but I'm working on that. Also, working on the crossing like this helps release, creates ease. So if you're feeling a little tense, you can do this position and just breathe in and breathe out, and that helps your lungs. Physically, it helps with asthma, allergies, and pulmonary disease. Metaphysically, creating ease, intake, and acceptance of information, because we have to be open to information. Information is highly, highly important for us. I'm going to move this pretty quickly here because I don't want to make this long. We're moving down to the heart, and the heart is area it helps balance the heart and breast disease. So here we put our positions there, our hands are positioned there, and this area helps with heart disease, circulatory system, vascular disease, and breast disease. The heart chakra connects to love, compassion, and forgiveness. So that's where we hold a lot of that. And then we're going to move down to right on the heart area. And the heart area encourages forgiveness. So it's a place where we, want to forgive a lot. it helps us to feel unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness. Now, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that you're forgiving someone else. Forgiveness also means that you're forgiving yourself, because we need to forgive ourselves. We're going to be moving down to the mid back, and this treats the kidneys and blood disorders. So here we are, putting our hands right there, and this will treat the not treat, but balance the kidneys, adrenals, and blood. So physically, kidney disorders and blood disorders. Metaphysically, this is the station of power. So here's where we encounter criticism, shame, anger, resentment, and reacting like a child. So a lot of things in that area. So this is a place where we really have to pay attention to, and I do spend a lot of time there when I first am working with someone. And then we have our lower part of our body, lower part of our rib cage, and this regulates diabetes, blood sugar. So the area that it balances the liver, the pancreas, the spleen, the stomach, and the gallbladder. Physically, it helps with digestion, any gastro disorder, ulcers, detoxification, liver disease, cancer, herpes, and psoriasis, blood disorders, diabetes, and glucose conversion by the liver. Metaphysically, this is also a place of power, but this one deals with self-esteem. So sometimes we feel like we're being hit in that area, if someone's not treating us in the same capacity that we want to be treated. So we start to have problems there. But you can see where the emotions take you there. Now this is where I'm going to go through these really fast. This is the lower back. And this one here deals with our spinal cord and reproductive areas. Physically, the lower back and the sacral pain, spinal cord injuries, infidelity, prostate disorders, and hormone imbalances. This place here, metaphysically, is any type of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, spiritual, sexual pressure or guilt or shame, belief in aging as getting older. So this is a place where all that kind of emotion sits there. So when it gets blocked, we need to unblock that so we don't fall into problems down there. Okay. Again, the lower rib cage is our support for personal power, and here's where we hold our personal power, and that's the solar plex, and this is for the personal power and self-esteem. We went through that, and we're going to go to the waist right now. The waist area helps in digestion. You see that? It helps with the small intestine and the transverse colon, and it helps with digestion and elimination. And metaphysically, it's the belly, and it helps in cleansing emotions and assimilating knowledge, because we have to be open up to learning all our lives. It never stops. Also, the waist line is where we clean a lot of the emotions that we carry within ourselves. So this helps in cleansing emotions, memory, and the use of information. So when we're blocked there, feeling not so good there, that's where that helps. And we're going to go to, let's see, our knees. Okay, our knees relieve pain. So here's where we help. It helps the knees and the legs. Physically, knee disorder, leg pain. And here it is, folks. We hold our attitude in our knees. Pretty funny that we could, our knees are holding our attitude. So if we're having problems there, we got to check our attitude and see what we've been thinking about. Also aids in moving, so moving, helping us move forward. Our attitude, our momentum, it helps us get to places. So different ways of holding for the knees. Ankles. Who thinks of ankles? Well, ankles alleviates ankle pain and improves flexibility. So here are two different ways. So we hold on to our ankles, and helps with the ankle disorders and ankle disorders or pain, and metaphysically flexibility, guilt, ability to receive pleasure, and when I say ability to receive pleasure, meaning loving yourself. You need to learn how to love yourself. We're going to go into our feet and toes, and this is where we ground ourselves. So a lot of grounding there to do when we're dealing with our feet. So feet disorders, nail disorders, anything like that deals with a blockage in there. And this is where we balance and ground ourselves. So when we have accidents and we break our foot, we're off balance, and anyone who has experienced that knows how uncomfortable that is. Anyway, so when we're working with the body, this is what we're looking at, and this is how we're pushing the energy through to help the person handle stress and release that and heal themselves. Because yes, we have the ability to heal ourselves. We are our own healers. So how we see ourselves is how our life evolves. So we have to really pay attention. Your body always talks to you, always talks to you. So when you go to have a Reiki session, your practitioner will be going to those areas that they feel there's a blockage, and opening that up and releasing that, and hopefully helping you balance that with their energy. So this is about it. You know now what Reiki does. It's a wonderful modality. It works with everything. It doesn't interfere in anything you're doing. So if you're seeing your doctor, you're taking medication, it works with all of that. The one thing I do caution my clients, if they are diabetic and they're on diabetic medicine, I always tell them to, after they've had a session, to check their glucose level, because Reiki has the ability to lower that. And when you're on medication, you don't want to bring it way down, because then there's going to be problems there. So I always tell you, you're going to need to check that, and they do check it to make sure that they're okay. But let's see, other things, sleeping well, feeling better, getting a handle on ourselves, getting a handle on our lives, seeing things differently, affecting different areas. We tend to carry a lot of our problems on our shoulders, our stomach area, so you feel different things. And one thing I want to bring to the surface here is back and front of the body. The front of the body is what's happening now. It's what's going on in your life right now. So whenever you're having problems with the front of the body, it's whatever is happening now. The back, however, is what's happened to us in the past. So if you're having back problems, you gotta look at what you're not letting go, that you've been through, that you need to let go. Sometimes we hang on to things and we don't want to let it go, but you got to let it go if it's affecting your back. So lower back, middle back, upper back, neck area, all those places. So remember that that's something that you've already experienced. So it's something that you're hanging on to. Touch memory again. The front of the body, however, it's what's happening right now. It's just it's just announced itself. So it's what you're dealing with right now, the present time right now. So is it stress at job? Is it stress at home? Is it stress with families, friends? You know, it's endless. It's endless the amount of things that we go through. Stress on Facebook, what people are saying, Twitter, also when you're not feeling as balanced as you should and you're going through things, you want to kind of taper off the news a little bit, because the news kind of make us stress a little bit because we're not really sure what's going on. But you know, I always tell my clients, only believe 50% of what the news are telling you. The other 50%, just throw it out, throw it in the garbage, because it's not, essentialized. And also, when you're not feeling as well, or say you're going through something, I always suggest that you bring a lot of humor and laughter into your life. To watch a funny movie, laugh a lot. Laughter is an endorphin, and it releases a lot for us. After you had a good laugh with a cry with it, you always feel much better. So these are the things that I share with my clients to help them get through whatever it is they're getting through. And then again, if I feel that they have to see a doctor, if they're not seeing one, I would say, well, maybe you should visit a doctor and make sure that everything is okay, that nothing's off. Because I don't know that. I don't know what they need there, but all I do for them is to help them reach a point to relax. I help them with meditations and, like I said, listening to soothing music, watching funny shows, because, after all, life is a joke at times. So I hope that this has helped you a little bit to understand what Reiki does. And Reiki has a sense of humor. It does this thing the way it wants to. It doesn't hurt anybody. It won't hurt you in any way. It's a good energy. And sometimes we have to laugh when we realize, oh, well, I've been doing this to myself. So let go and be gentle with yourself, love yourself, and realize that all things pass. Nothing stays permanent. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know. Write me a comment. Say how you like this. I'll be sharing more things. The next event I'm going to be doing is going to be on chakras and auras. A lot of people want to know what they are, and I'll be doing that in September. So look for it in September. I'll make the announcement, kind of go through that, and then that will connect to Reiki, because all of that works together and so forth. And I'm going to be doing lots more different things, because I am trained in a lot of modalities that I do, but one of my top ones is the Reiki. That's why I started with this one. So that's it. I hope you have a great evening. Enjoy your weekend. It's coming up. It's Friday. So just laugh all the way through the weekend. And I'll be talking to you soon.